drinks. I'm, of course, Dr. Cush, along with my bar back Kyle. I'm not a real doctor, but I did spend almost 2 decades running some of LA's best bars. After years of teaching classes and training bartenders, I want to demystify the cocktail world for you. Let's try a few new things as I open up my bar to everybody. Belly up, chat. Let's have a drink.
Welcome everybody to Dr. Cush's Exotic Roadshow. I'm Dr. Cush. We are here in very sunny, humid Maryland, United States. I was able today, flew into Dulles first thing, and then I got to see the Washington Monument, and I got to see the Lincoln Monument, and I got to see the White House, all from my car while stuck in about 2 hours of traffic. So I'm in need of a cocktail. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to be making a cocktail in a hotel room. Very simple cocktail. I like to travel with these teeny tiny little bottles. That way I'm not just drinking garbage. I am drinking what I want. And we're also going to go through and chat about briefly about Tiki Oasis. Now that we are done with punches, what we want to do next. I will give you guys a little bit of behind the scenes of the Tiki Oasis as well, about the speech, how it came to be, and what was missed, and what in the future we will be doing slightly differently. So that's what we got. So while we're sitting here waiting for everybody to join, let me say hello to the people that are, oh my goodness, you guys are chatty McBatties in here. Let me say hello to Bon Bon. Bon Bon was a rock and roll star this week. I believe I compared her to Snoop Dogg at some point. She is, oh no. Oh, good. Thought I lost all the chat. She was a super rock star. It was so good to hang out with Bon Bon this weekend. At Tiki Oasis. She certainly knows the ropes about with that stuff, and is a consummate Tiki file and an amazing extrovert, which is super helpful for that kind of stuff. Davey Virtue, cannot believe that I'm already back at it. Yeah, I got to unpack one bag and pack another one to get out to Maryland. So here we are. Let's see who else we got here. We got Shawnee Panabaker, who I believe lives near Maryland. I'd love to hang out with Shawnee Panabaker, but I am gone. I'm gone in moments, so I will not have time. But next time we're in Maryland, we will stop by Shawnee Panabaker's bar. I want to see the whole setup. Let me say hello to Amy Beer. Amy Beer is here, ready to go. Amy Beer, noticed something very cool. We had a huge subscriber bump. Huge for me. I think it went up like 20 or 30 after that little speech that I did. It was great. I honestly love seeing a subscriber bump. That's super helpful. It means probably something I'm doing does pretty good. Davey Virtue says he's going to lose his title after it hit 2.5 or 3. No, you will always be the 2,000th subscriber. That's a big one. 2,000 is a big one, I think. You know, obviously we'll have a 5,000th subscriber probably, and probably 10,000 subscriber, et cetera, et cetera. That's probably as big as we'll ever get. That's my thought on it, at least. Maybe not though. Maybe I'll do something really stupid. It'll go super viral, and then I'll become what the internet calls we call them lol cows. LOLCOWS. It's just people that make fun of. You get online, you got like a weird trait. People make fun of it. Not super nice, but we could get up to like probably 30, 40,000 if we decided that's how we're going to go. Well, let me say hello to our good friend Tiki Tom. Tiki Tom is, I don't want to just put Tiki Tom saying body there. That's kind of weird. There's where the rest of the body went. Tiki Tom heading to Mahiki, coming up here soon. I was trying to get into it. It is a Tiki festival coming up, but could not get it done. But next year. Let me say hello to Kyle. A lot of you guys got to see Kyle this week. Kyle showed up. He kind of surprised all of us. Came into the room, decided he wanted to hide behind a table for the first part of my speech. and then get up at a really odd time and then run out. And we never saw Kyle again. So it's insane. How did I end up in Maryland? Your guess is as good as mine. Boy, are my arms tired, you know. Have a little work to do tomorrow, and then I'm back out after that. Let me say hello to our good friend Cocktail Lulu, who made this weekend so great. You'll notice that Cocktail Lulu is here. Usually she's not here on Tuesdays, so we like to see that. Love to see. We're not doing a Tiki Tuesday, everybody. So if you wanted a Tiki Tuesday, we do not have that available. That is maybe we'll check in the back for a Tiki Tuesday next week, but for right now, we do not have it. He has another hotel room, says Paul. Wow! Here I am. Hello, Paul. Moose asking, has anybody recovered from Tiki Oasis? I have yet to do that. I've yet to recover from Tiki Oasis. I got right back on the road. So we are here in Maryland trying to get some sleep. Although right now it is 6 o'clock my time. And that might be slightly too early to go to bed. So I think I have to stay up for no reason. Stare at a wall. At least it's green, though. At least the wall's green here. That's my doing. There's my producer, Jen. There you go. Cush looking a little tired. Is this the travel or TOSD? It's a little both. It's a little both. I think jumping right back into a plane was not way to go. Yeah, Kyle's saying we are going to 86 Tiki Tuesday. Not forever. Not forever, but just for right now. I couldn't possibly shove another Tiki drink into my face after this. I wanted to find something that was definitely not a punch. I wanted to find the exact opposite of a punch, and that is what we are doing today. We are making one of my very favorite cocktails of all time. It is called the Boulivardier. A Boulivardier. But before we do that, maybe, you know what? Screw it. Let's make the drink from the hotel room, and then then I'll chat about sort of Tiki Oasis, what I had. I've watched the speech back now, and I didn't realize how much I cut from it in order to make it make time. And then for some reason, it went short. So I probably should have just kept talking and added all my extra stuff back. But since you guys are here, we're going to add that stuff back afterwards. So let's start. So Boulivardier, named after a French magazine called Boulivardier. If you're going to name it after something, it's a really good option to name it after the actual name. It was kind of a cool cocktail, a French cocktail. At the same time, the Italians were also experimenting with the Negroni, or at least the Count Negroni was experimenting with the Negroni, and just interesting to see that there's this theory. It's in comedy, right? I did comedy for a little bit. I was like trying to be a funny guy for a little bit. Called parallel thinking. Oftentimes, comics will get into huge fights with each other. Screw you, pal. You know, your mother's something hilarious. And they'll do that because somebody will accuse somebody else of stealing a joke. Say, you what an asshole. You stole my joke. Why are you stealing my jokes, jerk? And it turns out there's a chance that person didn't really steal the joke. That might have just been kind of in the zeitgeist at the time. You know, you make a joke about, listen, I'm not going to come up with a joke right now, but either way, if everybody's doing the same joke at the same time, it might just be because at some point, advertisers got to you, marketers got to you. There was a while in the 90s when everybody wore black and white stripes for some reason. Everybody's like, I got to have black and white stripes. Nobody knew why. It's not like we all talked about it. It's like blowing into a Nintendo cartridge. We didn't talk about that. We just knew to do it. To bring that back to black and white stripes, we just kind of knew to do it. To bring that back to parallel thinking, that's what it was. And at a very similar time, the Negroni and the Boulivardier were being created. Total coincidence? I don't know. A lot of people just call the Boulivardier the bourbon Negroni. It isn't that. It certainly isn't that. A Negroni is one of those perfect triads of cocktails, 1-1-1. If you're making your Boulivardier like that, you are doing it wrong, I think. So don't do that. If you'll notice, these are the things I brought. I like to take them in. So these are like 2.5 ounce little bottles. When I teach cocktail classes online, which thank you to Bon Bon, I owe her and apparently the rest of the Tiki community a class online for finding a port light class. But when I teach them online, oftentimes when I get bottles sent to me in order to teach, they're sent in these little guys. I have probably 8,000 of them, and they do really well because they are the exact size that is able to go on a carry-on. Some of the TSA people are very concerned. They're very, very concerned that there I am bringing on booze. What I always say every time I talk to them, I look them right into the eyes. I say, "Sir," I say, "Listen, that stuff's very expensive. I'm taking it to a tasting, and I cannot have that lost. That much right there is too expensive to be lost. So please, oh please, oh please, oh please, do not make me throw it away." And because it technically is legal, and as long as they are not catching you drinking it, pouring it into a Coke or something, or chugging it straight from the bottle, you're probably in a good spot. So I usually just throw these into a big plastic bag, and then I have cocktails to go, as opposed to just stopping by the liquor store here and grabbing a fifth and then missing my meeting tomorrow. So that's not what we want. We want nice, easy stuff. In the hotel room, I'm just going to take these guys right here. This will be my drinking glass. I feel like in the drinking glass, I want it to stay a little longer. This guy right here is not a drinking glass because it'll melt right through. This is for coffee. And then we're going to make this thing. Now, if you want to make a proper Negroni, dude, there is no rhyme for it. Or sorry, a proper Boulivardier. There I am making it. See, even Tiki Tom saying, "Is it a Negroni riff?" It very well may be, Tom, but there are a lot of scholars. Is there a single scholar? I don't know if there's any scholars. There are people. A lot of the stories will say that this was kind of just created at the same time. Anyway, what we're looking for is 2-1-1. 2-1-1. We're going to follow the same idea as like a great 2-1-1 cocktail like the daiquiri, right? Daiquiri usually a little bit less sweet, a little bit more sour there, but it's a 2-1-1. We're going to be doing it 2 ounces or 2 parts. We're going to do 2 parts of our whiskey. We're going to do 1 part of our Campari, and we're going to be doing 1 part of sweet vermouth. Very, very simple cocktail. So if you were to do a Negroni instead, you don't have to travel with your jigger. In this case, I do have to travel with my jigger because I need to measure some of the stuff out. So we're going to take this guy right here, and we're going to be pouring in 2 parts of our whiskey. What kind of whiskey? It's up to you. Try and get a rye. We're using Jack Daniel's rye today. There we go. Right there. That's 2 parts, just about 2 ounces right there. We're going to then grab our sweet vermouth. We want to follow the same basic idea. In the seminar the other day, somebody raised their hand and asked a completely out-of-pocket question. Completely out of pocket. They said, you're talking about punches. I noticed that you're talking all about all these punches. Let's talk about the last word. Certainly not a punch, but he wanted to know what kind of drink was it? Was it a sour? Maybe. Was it like a martini kind of thing? Maybe. I kind of think of it as a daisy because we're sweetening with liqueur. That is not what we're sweetening this one with. In fact, we are going to be sweetening this one with wine. but not just any kind of wine. Vermouth, fortified wine. We're adding a little bit of that spice that we've been talking about for so long by throwing in this wine. This is just regular old vermouth. We're going to throw in 1 part of some sweet verm. There we go. I only brought 1 camera setup, so you have to trust that I am that I'm actually pouring this out. Let me say hello first of all, real quick, while we're in the middle. Just let me say hello to Susan and the rest of A4: Archer, Avalon, Amanda, and Alex. But where am I? I am in a little town called Maryland. It's a whole state called Maryland, turns out. But the whole thing feels very much like a little town. Everybody waves at each other. Smells a little like cigarettes. That might just be the hotel I'm at. Anyway, so we're sweetening this with our sweet vermouth. Turns out we are also sweetening with this guy. Now, this is Campari. The great thing about Campari is it is a jackknife. That's not what I was trying to say. What's a jackknife exactly? I know it's a dive where you go like this. So I'm assuming a jackknife comes out like this. It's not a jackknife. It's a jack of all trades or a Swiss Army knife. But that is not a jackknife. That is something different. Campari plays a great role in a lot of different cool drinks. It is a bitterer in a lot of them. It is the sweetener in a lot of them. For things like the Americano, it is the full-fledged, the full force of the ABV going in there. It really does sort of play a kind of a cool part. And in this one, same idea. It's going to be sweetening this up, definitely. And it is going to be giving us the bitter aspect of it. It is a bitter Italian red liqueur. I have tried and tried to loop it back in to having Campari. It would be so much easier just compartmentalizing if Campari was just known as an Amaro. But it's not. It is not one of the Amari. It is a red, bitter Italian liqueur. It's annoying. That's what it is, though. And what that means is it can be used almost anywhere that you're using the rest of that stuff. So it's a liqueur, so it can be a sweetener. It's a bitter, so it can be a bitter. It's got some booze in it. It can be used as your liquor. And it can also be used just to make stuff red. That's another good way to use it. So we're going to go ahead and put in 1 part of our red, bitter Italian liqueur. And there we go. Now, of course, if we want it to be animals, we could pull, I think, what we are going to now call a Davy Virtue, which is where you take everything that you have and you shove it in your mouth and you go like this. We're not going to call that a Davy Virtue. I don't know what we're going to call it, but it's something out there. Yeah, could you just go at it like this? Yes, but this uncivilized. Why on earth would I travel all the way across the United States to not get Carl's Jr., but instead get Hardee's if I was just going to drink this normal? So most hotels have ice rooms. I'm always interested to see what type of ice we have. These are square pieces. Love an actual cube. Most ice cubes are certainly not cube. These are pretty cubey. Just going to throw this in here. There we go. And since we did not travel with a spoon, we're going to pull a little method. Now, I don't know if they're going to kick me out of the Bartenders Guild for showing you this, but just pull one of these. Just move it around. All that motion, it's going to melt a little of that water. A little of that water is going to find its way into the drink. It's going to cool it down. But it is also, first of all, this is the reason that we don't drink out of this one. Already starting to get the drips and the draps. We don't want that. Spin, 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 spin. And then we are going to slowly wash your hands. We're just going to slowly keep this back. Oh. All right. We're doing fine. Small emergency, but we're good. Didn't spill on the computer. Hold that back, please. Don't do that or wherever you are. Thank you, Hardee's, for giving me napkins. Obviously, if you are making this at your house and your house has an orange somewhere, an orange would be very nice in this situation. I did not travel with oranges. I feel like, tell me if you think this is right. I grew up in Arizona, but I live in California now. And in order to get from Arizona to California, you have to go through, if you're driving on the 10, you have to go through this whole thing where they check your car, right? They sort of look into your car. Now, I've never once ever been stopped, ever been stopped by those guys. They're usually just like, let's go, let's go. So I don't know what they're looking for when you're traveling on the 10 from Arizona into California. It's not the other way around. When you're going from California into Arizona, Arizona is it's a lawless town. Going back into California, they're checking for something. And I've never, ever, ever figured out what they are checking for because they've never stopped me. But I assume, this is my assumption, I assume it's oranges. Why do I assume it's oranges? I don't know. I assume it's oranges. I assume it's just maybe not just oranges, but also all seeded fruits, anything that you can sort of grow a tree with. I feel like California is not interested in Arizona's orange trees. I think California is very interested in their own orange trees, pear trees, avocado trees, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I feel like having oranges is contrabandish. It's like contrabandy. So that also stops me from ever throwing an orange into my backpack or any seeded fruit into my backpack before I get on an airplane. I don't want to get arrested for smuggling in seeds. That's what I want. Here we go. Cocktail Lulu. California has agricultural checkpoints and very strict laws on bringing outside fruits and vegetables. Oh, there we go. So that's what Cocktail Lulu has confirmed it. It's Arizona's agricultural pests they're not interested in seeing come in. Oh, so now suddenly my my hometown has pests. It was from a fruit fly invasion in the 1980s. Well, there we go. All right. Well, I didn't know that. They used to do it in the 1980s. They didn't want you to take any produce from AZ to California. Yeah, that's okay. Well, there we go. So I was right. At least that's yeah. I'm sure. What did we talk about earlier? It was just sort of in the zeitgeist. I feel like I knew that. How did I know it? Did I read about it somewhere? Did it just sort of show up in my brain one day? Probably a little bit of both. That's kind of how that works. Kyle says I snuck into California on an orange. It's just a lot to learn. It's just a lot to learn. This is the Boulivardier, fantastic cocktail. If you like I have finished your summer of punch and want to get into something a little heartier, this has a lot. This is kind of this is the methadone to punch. It's sort of stepping you off of it. It's not gonna keep you punch high, but it'll get you where you need to be. Cheers. That'll put me right to sleep. Do you think? Okay, let me ask you guys something. Let me ask you a question here. If I was to go to the store, I believe it's called a Walmart. It's really the only stores they have around here, and buy an orange and shove it into my backpack, would they stop me when I flew back to California? Would they allow me to have it? We're about to find out. Low carb cocktail guy has not had a Boulivardier in a while. Now, okay, low carb cocktail guy. First of all, good to see you. Second of all, have we made red, bitter Italian liqueur low carb or no carb yet? I think that's something to look into. Let me say hello to Kim K. Cheers to you, Kim K. We got to hang out with Kim K. Kim K. As soon as we get back and are doing shows again at the bar, Kim K made the greatest ornaments, party favors, something like that. She made Kyle party favors. We love them. We have them. They're going to go on our tree. And Kyle had his little, he shed little tears. It was pretty cute. Shotty Pennebaker was experimenting with an Irish banana old fashioned this evening. Oh my gosh. It's really hard. Okay. Yeah, I feel like, let me just say, low carb cocktail, I feel like red bitter Italian liqueurs is hard anyway. And then to take out the carbs, that seems unfair. All right. We promised you guys a little something. So in the seminar, there was one main thing that I did not talk about because I forgot to, not because I cut it. There was a bunch of stuff I cut out. We wanted to get really into wanted to get more into the creation of the Singapore sling. I thought that was a kind of a fun thing to get into. I wanted to get a little bit more into Sunny and maybe even into Phoebe. I feel like that's two people to get into. And I also wanted to get more into Dawn's signature. But we talked about them at least a little bit. Dawn's signature, the Herbstura dashing. The thing that I completely forgot to bring up, and I feel like it's important, I feel like you guys have maybe heard it at this point, but I do want to put it out there for anybody that's now just finding the channel. And it's like, that's so interesting. He did a whole thing on punch, but didn't explain where the word punch comes from. I did a lot of research into it. I read just about every book I could. I read Wondrich's Punch. I wrote Imbibe. Read a bunch of other, read a lot of Simon Difford stuff, all that stuff. And there's no consensus. There's no consensus on where the word punch comes from. Two different things they think it might be from. Pancha. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pancha, Hindi word for 5. That's a pretty good one. But the more I think about it, the more I think I might be on the other side of it, which is it comes from the word punchin, which is a size of a keg. Size of like a, you know, there's a standard, there's a great keg called a butt. I love a keg butt. There's a great size of keg called a butt, but one of the ones right around the keg, or the butt keg, is called the punchin. And it would have been really nice for sailors if they were going to make a large punch to throw it in there, throw all that stuff in there. If they were to age it or keep it in a punchin barrel. I was going to leave it up to everybody, but then I was up the night before. We had been going to at Tiki Oasis. There's a burlesque show every night. Midnight it starts. Too late for me, but it starts at midnight. It's a burlesque show. It's very fun. A lot of tassels, all that kind of stuff. On the night before my thing, on Saturday, the last night of the burlesque, I had to go back to the room that I was staying at and learn all about how to make a PowerPoint presentation because I didn't know. I didn't know if it was free. I didn't know what was going on. I started from absolute scratch and learned how to make a PowerPoint presentation almost in like 2 hours. I think I did it about 2.5 hours. I learned the whole thing and made a whole PowerPoint thing. And I think in that, I did not get a chance to practice what I was going to say one more time. And thus, I forgot a couple things. And I think the most important thing was the punchin, because I wanted to bring that up, but I didn't get to. That's it. Dougie says there's also a hogshead. That's pretty fun. He says 1 hogshead equals 238 liters. Do you think that's how many liters an actual hogshead holds? Not the keg. Like if you found a big, like what's the biggest hog? Let's look it up. Should I share a screen? We're just going to look up. Oh, you know what? I can't do it here. I'm just going to look up hogshead. Hogshead size. Well, it only gives me measurements for the actual barrel. What about an actual hog? The skull is 1.25 inch thick and slanted. It's fun. That doesn't seem like it would be. Okay, so it looks like a hog's head is not the size of an actual head of. All right. Oh, reconnecting. Did we lose we lost this for a minute while I went looking for something else. All right. Well, it turns out that is that's disappointing. They really should name them after other things. This is the breadbasket keg. It's about this big. This is that woman from my 1,000-pound life or 800-pound life. We should find out her name. And then that's this size of keg. This is like the Buick keg. I'm just talking at this point. Okay. Let me tell you guys about what the rest of the week looks like. It doesn't look good. The rest of the week does not look good. So for those of you who don't remember, or for those of you who didn't know, I had a grandfather who passed away recently. His funeral is this Saturday. So we will be postponing shows until after that is done. I feel like we've all spent a lot of time together recently anyway. You know what? I like spending time with you guys. That's my favorite thing to do. But I feel like maybe just a small break so we can reset and get back into it for the next Tiki Tuesday. I will be traveling tomorrow and Thursday. Will not be around on Friday, and Saturday is going to be the day of the funeral. I don't think it's appropriate to do a show that night. I may put up a toast, something like that, but just please, oh please, oh please, oh please, do not forget that this show exists. That's always that is my biggest fear, that I will disappear for too many days, and people will say, "What did we used to do something? Something used to happen. It doesn't happen anymore. It's over." So please, oh please, oh please, remember that the show exists, and we will be back. Let me check the schedule real quick. I think we will definitely be back on Tuesday. That's weird. Yeah, okay. Conflicts. Is this interesting at all? No. Yes, Tuesday. Can we meet back here in 1 week's time? We will be back here Tuesday the 13th. Tuesday the 13th for Tiki Tuesday. We are going to be back at the bar. It won't be any of this garbage. Listen, Maryland seems very nice, but it's not my home. So I'm right across the street from a used car lot that has a one of these guys. What do we call those guys? Those guys. And unfortunately, that guy is right in front of a light, and that makes an amazing strobe effect. So I don't imagine there's going to be a lot of sleeping going on tonight. But we'll be back at the bar. We have some fun stuff for you. Not only did members of the Big 30 were they able to find a port light glass, but Dougie G handmade something. I'm not going to spoil it for you right now. But Dougie G handmade something, and it's very cool. And we have a lot of very fun stuff coming up. A lot of guests. I was able to get a lot of guests to promise me that they'd show up on the show. So hopefully we'll get more guests, and we will get more different types of booze and that stuff. And hopefully we put towels on top of the curtain. Yeah, gonna need to be something, because I'm kind of a light sleeper. So yes, Dougie G, awesome. Yeah, very excited. We will. I'm very excited to show you guys what we have. It's an element of the show that we've been doing for a while, but we are going to boost it up with the addition of Dougie G stuff. Paul, thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate you. And that's what I got for you guys. Just want to add that you have an amazing dedication to make live streaming even though you're in a hotel on vacation. Thank you. Thank you, Moose. I know that you, my friend, have a huge dedication to the show because you wake up, you set an alarm at 3 to watch this show wherever it is. So this is child's play. The only thing is, of course, dragging this stuff across the country with all the oranges now that I'm going to sneak back into to California. Do you think that's an admission of guilt? I should stop talking on the internet. That's what I got for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know if you guys enjoyed the Boulivardier. And if you make your own Boulivardiers, tell me what proportions you guys like to have it in. They say that if I do questions like that at the end, maybe I'll get something called engagement. So right underneath here, what you thought of the Boulivardier and what your proportions are. Until then, my friends, the Big 30, I appreciate you guys and all the help that you gave me through this entire summer of Punch. Also, let me know if you want to do a fall, like an autumn of something. I would love to do an autumn of something. So if we want to get into like autumns of daisies or something crazy like that, that would be a ton of fun. Let me know if that's something you're into. But until then, let me say, as we always do, are you Dr. Jenga Jenga? And also, oh gosh, how do I do this? I'm on a different computer. Oh, there we go. Are you Dr. Jenga Jenga? But also, bye-bye. I'm pretty sure you guys can still hear me. So I'm going to do my very best not to say anything stupid while we let this run. What's up, UF Mark? Bye-bye. Yes. Kyle says, don't forget to like and comment. Couldn't agree with Kyle more. Oh, he says it right here, though. Yeah, live mic. Thank you, Bon Bon. The Fall of Fizzes. I think the Fall of Fizzes will be fun. The Fizzy Fall. Welcome to Fizz Fall. We're going to come up with something much better. Let's say thank you, Bon Bon. Live mic. Yeah, we are live, and our mic is on. I just want the music to run for a little bit so everybody can say goodbye. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share, says Kyle. Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you, Amy. People are saying, yep, maybe the Fall of Fizzes. Yeah, honestly, I think that might be good. We can get really deep into things like carbonation. We can get into more of the kombucha. I know that there were some people that were calling for kombucha. We could do a battle box maybe of different soda waters. Oh, you know what we could do in the Fall of Fizzes? We could make Dr. Cush's exotic tonic water using the real stuff. So maybe, you know what? I think this might be it. I think Low Carb Cocktail Guy might have come up with it, the Fall of Fizzes. But we're going to think about it. We have a few weeks before fall starts. Oh, you know what else we can get into? Beer making. All right. Kyle says, come to his orange party. Don't bring anything on your oranges. We know what happens there. And there we go. That's the end of the song. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you next time. As always, what does the song say? The song says hi, but I say bye-bye.